Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. Hello, I'm Kerry and I am a Disney adult. This video today we are, as you can tell from the title, we are ranking the Disney films of the 1990s. If you will see my previous videos, I have done two videos of the 30s and 40s, two videos of the 50s and 60s, and two videos of the 70s and 80s. Now I'm about to do three videos for the 1990s. The reason for this is I talk too much. And I blabber on about the films and make the videos really, really long. So basically, if I was to put all 12 films of the 1990s into one video, you'd be sat there for over an hour and a half. And I don't want that for you. And quite frankly, I don't want to record that for you. I don't want to be sat here for an hour and a half recording. That's just not my jam at all. So we're splitting this into three videos. The first video is going to review The Rescuers Down Under, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin and the Lion King. The second will be Pocahontas, Toy Story, Hunchback of Notre Dame and Hercules. And the third one will be Mulan, Bug's Life, Tarzan and Toy Story 2. So without further ado, let's go for it. So as you can see, the films are all down the bottom. I've just been through them. This is going to be a tough one for me because I love this decade of Disney. And I think majority of Disney fans will say this is probably their favourite decade of Disney. There's only one weak link in this whole series. I genuinely think all of the films, bar one, is that the right expression I'm using? Except for one, are absolutely brilliant films. There's not one I think I would put under 8 out of 10 if I was doing an out of 10 thing. So let's go for it. So the first film is The Rescuers Down Under. What can I say about The Rescuers Down Under? Nothing. It should not have been, in fact, nothing really positive. This film should not have been made. The Rescuers was meh. And it's well known as being meh. And so why Disney went, hey, do you know what this film needs? A sequel. Above all other films, this is the one that needs a sequel, is beyond me. It's pretty much the same as the first film. It's the fact it's set in Australia. It's a guy that is trying to get hold, the bad guy is a guy who is trying to get hold of the egg of a rare eagle. Something involving a kid, I don't remember. Maybe he needs the kid to go into, I think he's kidnapped the kid and the kid is small enough to go into the cave and get the egg. So it's pretty much the same storyline as the first one, except it's set in Australia. That's it. That is the film. And for that, I don't even need to go into this any further. You know where this is going. It's going in at E, purely because it shouldn't have been made. It's just not a very good film. Anyway, with that out the way, let's go into the remaining 11 films, which are all awesome. So, next film in this is Beauty and the Beast, which is easily in my top 5 favourite Disney films. And I'm sure it probably isn't to a lot of people's favourite Disney films. Most people I speak to that are Disney fans, or people who I watch on YouTube that are Disney vloggers or bloggers or video creators, tend to say that Beauty and the Beast is their favourite, if not one of their favourite Disney films. And there is a good reason for that. The animation is beautiful, the songs are amazing, it's got the most incredible score to it, the storyline is pretty much flawless. The characters have all got such great depth to them as characters. Like, Belle is so much deeper than, I would say, even Ariel is. And I love Ariel, don't get me wrong, but I would say as a character she's got so much more going for her. She is intelligent, she is ambitious, she wants to actually spend her life doing something interesting rather than, and this is no shade on women that do this, than just be a mum. If you want to be a mum, you go for it. I'm a mum. I've never been a stay-at-home mum, but I'm a mum. So, you do you. But Belle doesn't just want to, well, I suppose in Belle's time, it wasn't just a matter of just, of actually being a mum, going back to work, having a career or doing other things, having a social life with your friends, having hobbies, having clubs and social things you like to go to. It would have been literally just, sorry, it's winter on. I do this in all my videos. I appreciate it looks like I'm addicted to something, but I can assure you I'm not. It's literally just the winter weather. It's just constantly making my nose run. It's very annoying. And I've also just been out and taken the dog for a walk. As you can see, possibly from the, well, to be fair, you probably can't see it because we're in a circle, but it's relatively dark now as it's been the whole day. We are dealing with, I think it's Storm Owain, I think is the one we got at the moment, which for you, those of you that like Gavin and Stacey, all I think is Owain Hughes and Do You Noidled is all I can think of when I hear the name Owain. But yeah, we got that going on there was thunder, there was lightning, there was one hell of a lot of wind and rain all night, and it's, as per usual in January, very bleak, but we did get a nice bit of sunshine recently, so I took the dog out. So another reason why I keep wiping my nose, doing that to my nose, because I keep thinking my nose is running, so it's not as dodgy as it looks like. Anyway, Beauty and the Beast. Once again, you see why I have to cut down these videos. I digress so much. Beauty and the Beast, where was I? Yes, Belle. Yes, because her whole thing of if she had just done what people expected of her was she literally would just stay at home, clean the house. That would be it. She wouldn't do anything else. She would have no other sense of life to her whatsoever. And as much as that was fine for many women, possibly, but in those days, it wasn't fine for her. She didn't want to do that and have that life. She had more ambition to it. She was passionate about stories and adventure and going out into the world and having these adventures for herself, which I think is what makes her such a great female protagonist and such a, you know, so much more of a sort of feminine icon, I suppose, than some of the other Disney princesses, especially the ones leading up to this point. Although, they, you know, they tend to get better the more we go forward in time in the Disney series. So, and the Beast, his character development is great. He, from the start, is obviously this very selfish, very self-absorbed prince. I've just watched The Emperor's New Groove, by the way, which was brilliant. But yeah, kind of the same thing, very selfish. Hey, they both get turned into animals too. So he gets turned into an animal too. Anyway, very selfish, has his opportunity for redemption and doesn't take it, so therefore gets turned into a beast. Again, that is the only criticism I would have of this film, is a criticism that lots of people have, which is the logistics of aging in the film. So it's supposed to be that he has been a beast for 10 years before he can figure out, you know, that he's going to be a beast for 10 years. And it's only in those 10 years that he can fall in love and break the spell, basically, and turn himself back into human, also turning all of his staff in his house back into humans as well, that have all been turned into furniture. Don't know what I'd rather be, book or a beast or a furniture. I think I'd rather be the beast, to be honest. But, and yeah, the whole aging of, it's supposed to be 10 years, and it's like, well, when at the beginning of the film, he looks like he's about 21 when you see all the little flashbacks to how he became a beast. But then I don't know, but maybe he's supposed to not physically age when he's a beast, but when he turns back into a human at the end of the film, I'm not going to say spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the Beauty and the Beast, then, you know, that's on you, sorry. When he turns back into a human at the end of the film, he still looks about 21. Maybe he's supposed to be 31, but he doesn't really look it, I guess. But I think Belle is supposed to be about 18. So, again, I'll look that up and put it on the screen when I'm editing this. I think she's supposed to be 18. So 18 and 21 is a perfectly fine age gap. 18 and 31 is a bit more of a stretch, though. So, I don't know. The whole thing's very vague. Did he actually, in reality, was he actually a child when he was put under the spell by the Enchantress, or what was the deal? So that's often a criticism of the film. Oh, another criticism of the film is the obvious Stockholm, I was going to say Sweden, just the city, Stockholm syndrome in the film, the fact that she falls in love with him, and but even though he has been her captor and, you know, is keeping her as his prisoner. So I don't know, do with that what you will. I mean, you know, feel free to comment underneath your thoughts on that, if you know, your reasons for why you may not think it's Stockholm Syndrome. I mean, I was discussing it with Ben earlier, and there was the whole thing of, if it's Stockholm Syndrome, then I thought it isn't Stockholm Syndrome because he does change as a person, and he obviously, the way she is with him, the way she's such a lovely, caring, sweet person and interesting and stands up for herself and argues back with him. She's not a pushover. That's what he falls in love with, is her, I mean, her beauty helps, but it's also her personality. From the start, he could have seen the beauty. He wouldn't have fallen in love with her purely based on the beauty. But yeah, so maybe the fact that falls in love with her and is so kind to her, and that's why she falls in love with him, because he's so interesting, and she realizes he's so sweet underneath it all, and she falls in love with him. But then Ben pointed out, isn't that actually how Stockholm Syndrome works? I'm not an expert on that, so I don't know. Neither is he, to be honest, but, you know. So maybe that is how Stockholm Syndrome works, because the person that is the prisoner, no, wait, the person who is imprisoning the captor. Yes, the captor is nice to the person and then they fall in love with them from that is the whole point of Stockholm Syndrome. I just thought that, you know, it was maybe the fact that humans generally have the need for connection and love for one another, so in their lives, and that's why the prisoner falls in love with the captor. I don't know. But anyway, the Beast is still a great character. He has huge character development in the film, which makes him great. The little side characters are brilliant. Obviously, Lumiere, Cogsworth and Mrs. Potts and Chip are all great characters that have their own little development throughout the film. Cogsworth becomes softer as a person, or a clock, because of Belle coming to the house and what she brings to the house in her own warmth, and I think it just gives him a bit more hope in life. Lumiere, I think I would say, maybe eases off a little bit on his over-the-topness. Mrs. Potts is pretty perfect anyway, and Chip is also great. The villain, Gaston. Have we not all met a Gaston in our lives? This guy who is so up himself, thinks he's so freaking wonderful and just deserves everything in the world. We know a Gaston. Everyone's met a Gaston, or I've met several, but that just want what they want. They want this girl because she's beautiful and don't care anything to do with her, just, you know, how good she'll look on his arm as arm candy and stuff like that. LeFou being the little Peter Pettigrew, you could say, next to Gaston. Again, just for a little side character for the villain, is still a great character. And just everything about the film is amazing. I particularly love the score. The music for the film is beautiful. And as I said in the previous video about when you go into Disneyland Paris, for those of you that haven't done it, the music they play, yeah, actually three in particular that I've noticed sort of on repeat as you go in there. Obviously it said it's the one from the beginning of Little Mermaid is always in there, but also the one right at the end of Beauty and the Beast when he's broken the spell. She said, "I love you." He's broken the spell, and though so that one. Anyway, I digress again. They play that as you're going into the park, and it's the most beautiful, magical, warming Disney music. I've got the strangest feeling. My husband's phone just went off behind me. I don't know. And it's just, it just warms my heart every time I hear it. It makes me feel so happy. And that is why, one of the many, many reasons that this film is quite obviously going into the S tier, isn't it? I mean, come on. Where else you're going to put it? It's got to be the S tier. Where does that fit in better? There or there? Let's go a little higher. I put the little boundaries, a little border around these because I thought it just made them stand out a little bit more. So, on to Aladdin, our next film. This is along the same lines of brilliance as Beauty and the Beast. Again, the storyline is great, the songs are great, the characters are great, the character development is great, the little animal sidekicks are great. I love the fact the animal sidekicks in Beauty and the Beast are a horse, which is cool. Philippe is cool. Also Maurice, I love Maurice. I know he's not an animal, but I just wanted to add in, you know, shout out to Maurice. Great character. But also the dog that is a footstool in Beauty and the Beast are the... I just love the fact that was my husband's phone going off behind me. Yeah, the footstool. Just in itself, even though it's not, you can't see it as visually being a dog, you still know it's a dog from its mannerisms, and it's well cute. So, Aladdin, the sidekicks are great. Abu and Raja. I love tigers. Tigers are one of my favourite animals. So seeing a woman having a tiger as a pet that was a friendly tiger was like, oh, jealous. I know it's a cartoon. I know about Tiger King. The tigers can occasionally, you know, attack and kill. So I'm not an idiot. I wouldn't want a tiger as an actual pet. I don't feel anyone should have a tiger as an actual pet. But Jasmine did, because she was a princess and she lived in a big castle in a kingdom of Agrabah, and yeah, tiger, so cool. So yeah, I remember thinking, oh, I want to be Jasmine. Jasmine's got a tiger. But also Aladdin, again, heart of gold, despite the fact that obviously he has not been handed the best opportunities in life, and you know, the fact he has to steal things, but even when he's hungry and he needs food, the fact that he sees those two small children and gives them food instead of himself is really sweet. So that's lush. I love the fact Abu has, I'm saying it again, sassy attitude, which I love. Abu's a great side character, even when he's an elephant. In fact, he's almost better as an elephant. No, he's not. There is that whole bit right at the beginning. I think it's where, not right at the beginning, but it's when Aladdin first meets Jasmine. And I think it's they're trying to get melons, I think it is. They're trying to steal from the car. And Abu sort of swings down and picks one of them up and tried to distract the market seller, the market stall owner. And he holds the thing and he goes, another great thing that I've just done on the internet. And again, that was one of those things I've mentioned in the past that me and my brother used to find absolutely hilarious and would whiz back and watch over and over again because it was just so funny watching him do it. And also the bit later on when they're when Jafar has imprisoned Aladdin and Abu is taking the mick out of Princess Jasmine, and he puts the, I don't know what he does, pulls his fur over the top of his head and goes, la 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 la. Again, brilliant. We used to whiz that back too. So Abu, possibly one of the greatest animal sidekicks of any of the films. Abu's awesome. I love him. Jasmine, great development as a princess again. The fact that she obviously doesn't want to just settle for any guy, any prince that comes along. She's, you know, she stands up for what she believes in. She's strong. She's independent, as best she can be when she's a princess. She actually goes out and obviously escapes and tries to run away, which is very brave, really, especially in her situation where she's so privileged, and she shows that when she thinks she can just give an apple to, you know, some kids, and obviously almost gets her hands chopped off for it. But yeah, Jasmine is an absolutely great princess. Just quickly going over, because obviously in these videos they are all ones that well, except for The Rescuers Down Under, these other three films are all ones that have had live action films. Beauty and the Beast live action was fine. I don't think necessarily Emma Watson was the best choice to play her, but I love Dan Stevens because he's hot. But also he's a really good actor and I really liked him as the Beast. Aladdin, I think, is my favourite of the live action Disney films. And I know that's controversial, but I love the development of Jasmine in that. The fact that she actually wants to be the Sultan. Also, is a female Sultan called a Sultana? A question I've always wondered. And the song Speechless, I think was, I know people are saying like they're thrusting wokeism into Disney films, and I don't necessarily always agree with that, but I think each of the animated to live action films, or the live action ones, have had additional songs into them, and I think that was a very good fit for Aladdin. I think the casting of the characters in Aladdin was really, really good for the live action, so I just wanted to quickly brush over that one quickly. But yeah, the animated ones, the songs, the score is iconic once again. Howard Ashman and Alan Menken, just like with Beauty and the Beast, and like Little Mermaid, just absolutely slayed. And you know, A Whole New World, Prince Ali, One Jump Ahead, Arabian Nights, A Friend in Me. Oh, which adds into this one of the big pluses for the animated Aladdin. Robin Williams doing the voice of the genie. Could you have got anybody more perfect? I still, when I watch it, I think, oh, what a great loss. But he was so perfect as the genie. And as much as Will Smith was pretty good in the live action, he's not Robin Williams. And I think Robin Williams was the most perfect choice of that film. So I don't think there's much more I need to cover here. But obviously, just like Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin has got to go in at the S tier. So Aladdin on the S tier. And last but not least, onto The Lion King. This one has a special place in my heart. Not so much my husband's, he's not so into The Lion King, but I actually walked down the aisle to a piano version, sorry, the dog's trying to get my attention, a piano version of Can You Feel the Love Tonight? So every time I hear that song, yeah, as I said, it has a special place in my heart because, you know, it was in my wedding, so... The Lion King, obviously loosely based on Hamlet. I don't know a huge amount about Hamlet, but I know the basis of the story is that obviously Hamlet's father, the king, dies and he's set to inherit the throne, but his uncle is trying to kill him so his uncle can get the throne, or something along those lines. If I'm wrong on any of that, please let me know in the comments. Sorry, the dog's decided that he's just going to start attacking things next to my desk. Stop it. Anyway, he's going to jump up. Sorry, you're going to have to... You're coming up. Here's Loki again. So you're just going to have to get, like, Loki's head just slightly in the shot there. And his collar. So anyway, I absolutely love The Lion King, as so many people do, from that initial massive Enya at the beginning of the film. Oh man, it just hits you in the heart, doesn't it? You're just like, oh my god, the shivers, the goosebumps. It's just amazing. Again, Elton John and Tim Rice did so well with the soundtrack for this film. Obviously a big fan of the Ashman Menken double act on writing the scores for Disney films. But I just think, do you mind? I am here, just behind the dog's head. I do think, yeah, Elton John's Tim Rice did a fantastic job on the score for this film. Obviously, the strong African roots to the music is brilliantly put together with, obviously, you know, a couple of English white guys writing the rest of it. But I remember having the actual CD of the soundtrack when the film came out and listening to it. And even, you know, I'd listen to the songs in it, obviously, because, you know, I like, you know, singing along with the songs and stuff like that. Sorry, that's the dog sniffing on the mic. Do you mind? Loki? Want to get down? Do you want to get down, or are you just going to stay here on my lap? I don't know if you can see, because obviously I'm in a circle, but the dog is still on my lap at the moment. What was I saying? Where did I go? Oh yeah, so yeah, the music of the film is absolutely iconic. Everybody knows that, but obviously the not the even the actual songs in the film, the actual music itself that goes on in the background of the film is the score is just magic. It's just so powerful. Oh, good, he's got down. So powerful, and it's one of the things that I just absolutely love about The Lion King and its strongest thing, I think, is its soundtrack. It just takes you into that world. And again, obviously the characters, I haven't watched Mufasa, and I probably won't watch Mufasa. I probably maybe will in years to come, but I have no interest in going to the cinema to see it. Because I just feel it's just that thing that Disney seems to be doing at the moment, where they don't seem to be able to create any new ideas for films. Everything is based on not a toy, because that's Barbie, obviously, that's nothing to do. Everything's based on either a remake, a live action, a prequel, a sequel, a spin-off, and it's just like, please, just come up with some new ideas. I remember seeing the D23 Summit this year on various YouTubers' videos, and it's when they announced, what was it, Toy Story 5, Moana 2, which is actually very good, and I knew it would be, Mufasa, and I can't remember, there was something, Inside Out 3 maybe, they announced. But I remember all of it was sequels or prequels or live actions, and I was just like, are you freaking kidding me? You're Disney. Come up with some new ideas already. But yes, yeah, so that's my critique of, you know, and I just don't think, because I didn't like the live action of The Lion King, so I don't see why I'd want to watch a prequel. So at least with the live action of The Lion King, it had the association to the story that I loved in 94. Sorry, 2 seconds. Shush. He's just trying to get my attention. And obviously the songs from the live action, some from the original and stuff like that. So it had the positive associations with that, but generally I didn't really enjoy the live action, and I haven't watched it again. But the original film is an absolute classic. Bear in mind, it was one that wasn't, I mean, obviously I said it was based on Hamlet, but it wasn't one that was based on an actual story. I mean, obviously Aladdin was based on the, what was it, the Arabian Nights books, and Beauty and the Beast is obviously based on the, oh, what's his name? It's not Charles Perrault. Is it Charles Perrault? Possibly Charles Perrault that wrote Beauty and the Beast. Or is it Victor Hugo? I don't know. It's, you know, there obviously it is a classic fairy tale story, Beauty and the Beast. And, you know, coming up, Pocahontas is based on a real person. Hunchback of Notre Dame is based on again, that's definitely, I'm pretty confident that one's Victor Hugo. And then Hercules, based on Greek mythology. Mulan is based on ancient Chinese stories, and not Bug's Life. Tarzan is obviously a old style story. You really, old style story, really need to stop. Stop barking at me and stop growling. Apologies. So for the non-Pixar ones, pretty much everyone in the 90s was based on something that had already been, you know, already been written and created, and The Lion King was the one that was actually a bit more unique. Okay, so obviously there is a theory that it is based on a Japanese film, and it's very much a rip-off of the Japanese film, but, you know, I don't know how much there's truth to that, so it's a bit more interesting and unique. And I think, yeah, so the characters were great. Mufasa, the strong leader who was the king of the, you know, the king of the Pride Lands, and he needs to teach his only son how to do it because he knows that you know, to take over from him one day, because he knows full well that, you know, he won't always be there. And Simba being obviously this kid that just thinks, yeah, I'm going to be king, I can do whatever I want, you know, arrogantly like that, and having his best friend who obviously he then as an adult falls in love with, and they become the parents of the next heir, because, you know, he obviously, I suppose, well, not marries in lions terms, but, you know, she is his mate, although with lions it's kind of more than one mate, so it's a little like harem of lions, I don't know, lionesses. And then obviously you get Timon and Pumbaa that show him that there's more to life than just who's going to run the Pride Lands, and that actually he doesn't really need to do that in his life. He's got a lot more freedom, a lot more, and life is much more about fun, a bit like Baloo to Mowgli in the Jungle Book. Zazu being the bossy but loyal, what is he to? He's like a PA, isn't he? I can't think what his actual title is to PA. He is the personal assistant to Mufasa. He is like his right-hand man, so he obviously helps Mufasa with everything and helps organise, you know, how the kingdom needs to be and stuff like that. Again, great, but bossy, but so loyal. He is always doing the right thing on the right side. And then obviously you have Scar, this phenomenal villain who you totally get why he does what he does, as much as it's terrible. And, you know, he kills Mufasa, you know, leading to one of the most heartbreaking segments in a film ever. And as much as I'm usually the first one complaining about Disney films being emotionally charged, this is the one that needed to be. It needed to be in the film. You cannot avoid this. You need to see how heartbroken Simba is, so you can understand his guilt when basically Scar convinces him that it's his fault that Mufasa's died, which obviously we know it's not. His guilt, so why he then goes on, it's to run away, even though obviously he, you know, that's the whole reason for that, is that Scar is trying to get the hyenas to go and kill him. He runs away because he thinks that nobody's ever going to understand the fact that he killed his own father, which he didn't, but that he killed his own father, and that he shouldn't be king. And obviously later on, you know, realises that that wasn't the case and he should be king. But so you do need the death, you need the emotion of the death, and that is when Disney do misery well, I suppose, heartbreak well. The heartbreak is not always necessary. Obviously I've said about Bambi being my biggest critique of this, is obviously being in Bambi and Bambi's mum dying and it making absolutely no difference to the plot line whatsoever. But it's, again, it just breaks down the character and the character development in The Lion King, the strength of the story, and it's just a great film. And I remember after Ben's review of this, because, you know, heads up when you get to Ben's review, which we will start uploading soon, the reviews, I keep teasing them, he didn't like The Lion King, and he has a lot of reasons for it. And for a while, I almost was sort of going along with those reasons. I know, like, strong, independent woman. Just go along with what my husband says. You know, because it started making me think that maybe the film wasn't that good. But it's only when I sit here now and I go back through it and all the different aspects to it and stuff like that, is that I realise that, no, I don't agree with him. I think the Lion King is a phenomenal piece of, you know, animated film history, and quite rightly it needs to go in the S tier because it's brilliant. And I'm sorry that he can't see that like I can. Look at me being a right muppet with that. Yeah, it still lines up quite nicely. Is that lining up? Hi, I'm Kerry. I don't actually have OCD, but blooming well act like it. Yeah, and that is why The Lion King needs to go in at the S tier. So our first four films of the 90s, Rescuers Down Under, obviously in E, because it didn't need to be made, and you put it up against, you know, the other three, but even in this group of four films, it just not even close in the... And the fact it was in between The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast. If it was before The Little Mermaid, I maybe might have given it a little bit of slack, but after The Little Mermaid being so good that they still went, yeah, no, let's keep releasing that film the next year. I mean, it wasn't very long after The Little Mermaid. It was really, really close in chronological order to The Little Mermaid. It came very close, very quick after it. But yeah, I just feel it was really unforgivable of Disney, really, in that time. But to then, if we ignore that one, the first one's the decade being Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin and the Lion King. Wow, we just dived in. We just, honestly, straight in with bam on those ones. And I just absolutely love them. So obviously the next film will be coming out on Thursday at 8 o'clock. That will be me reviewing, putting into the tier list, ranking, that's the word I'm looking for, ranking Pocahontas, the first Disney Pixar film of Toy Story, Hunchback of Notre Dame and Hercules. I need to I do wonder if I should watch Hunchback of Notre Dame and Hercules again, because it's been a very long time since I've seen those films. We're talking like 25, 30 years since I've seen those films. So I might rewatch those before I film it. We shall see. So, if you like the video, please make sure to give it a good like. If you are enjoying my videos so far, please make sure to subscribe. I've got so many more ideas of videos coming up. Shush! I'm doing an outro, dude. And in the meantime, if you agree with my list or if you disagree with my list, please comment underneath. I know there's a couple of you that are commenting regularly, and I really, really appreciate you for that. Olivia and Max, you know who you are. But considering I'm quite new to obviously doing this, your comments mean so much to me. I really, really appreciate them, so thank you. And in the meantime, make sure you check out my other videos, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!